All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash. Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai been the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now, the lesson today is going to be about believing the lies of the slave master. You see, plus the military tells the story of the powers, and it tells the story of the Israelites. See, military strength, because these are two, well, this is a nation, first of all, and all the other nations on the earth has a military. But I'm gonna start off with the lives of the slave master. But I'm gonna start it off because I got the loudspeaker with I got my 12 chart sign, because I'm gonna start off with Ezekiel 17, 3 and 17, because you got let's see here. Verse 11. Let's start off with verse 11 because I'm kind of close to the hood. And I'm gonna start off with verse 11. But this is my 12 chart sign. 12 tribes of Israel. Judah is the Negroes. Benjamin is the West Indians. Levi is the Haitians. Simeon is the Dominicans. Zebulun is the Guatemalans and the Panamanians. Ephraim is the Puerto Ricans. Manasseh is the Cubans. Gad is the Native Americans. Reuben is the Seminole Indians. Naphtali is the Argentina to Chileans. Asher is the Colombians and the Uruguayans, and Issachar is the Mexicans. So we got everybody on the 12 chart sign. Yeah. Now I got my erase board out. I'm gonna utilize this. And let me write my subject up here before I get started. This is lies of the slave master. Let's do it like this. Lies of the slave master. And this is a test run. This is to see how it looks on camera. Let me get into these scripts. Let me get my Bible. The first one, I'm gonna start with 1. Start with Ezekiel chapter 3, starting at verse 11. It says, "And go get thee of them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, Thus says the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear." Now, when you're talking about go get them of the captivity, it's clearly stated in Baruch, because Baruch tells how we was in captivity. Baruch chapter 4 and 6. It say, ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved God to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. Okay? So the nation that was delivered unto the enemy was the Israelites. See, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When you go look up the atrocities that's happening, it's happening to the Native Americans. They protesting against the so-called enemy. You got the Hispanics, the Latinos. They protesting against the enemy. You got the so-called blacks, African Americans. They protesting against the enemy. See, these three groups was delivered up to the enemy, and they're in captivity. They have to use the American dollar, the Spanish dollar, see, the French dollar. They have to use their currency. You don't see a currency with somebody from the project. You don't see a currency from somebody from Colombia. You don't see a currency from somebody from Mexico. See what you call it, the Mexican dollar is ran by these Spaniards, and the Spaniards were so-called white people. They was not the indigenous people of Mexico. They went and took over Mexico, and they set up dummy leaders anyway. See, these people don't run them lands. They live in poverty in the South America. So it say we were sold to the nations. We the only people that's in bondage to this American dollar. We in bondage to this pound, euro, the Spanish dollar, and all of them based off the petrodollar anyway. Every dollar that's out there is dependent on the American dollar and the American military. So that's my next lesson. Now we go back to Ezekiel chapter 3. I'm going to start at 17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning for me. Verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked for his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But the blood will I require at your hand. Verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from the wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. You see, this is a warning to the wicked. And it's a delivering mechanism for the righteous. They must go and warn the wicked. They can't stand up in the pulpit, stand up in an AC with a robe on, running their mouth, and they don't go warn the wicked. See, they don't tell the children of captivity that they have to return back to the laws of God. See, because the slave master, he lied. See, the slave master telling them that they can participate in bestiality, they can participate in same-sex marriage. See, the devil, the slave master, is telling them all kind of things. And these pork chop eating pastors telling them to listen to the slave master. The slave master taught us right. See, listen to his Christianity. Now when you go into Isaiah 14, it talks about this slave master. See, It identifies who the slave master is. Because when he fall, that's what it describes him as. Look at Isaiah 14:4. It says that thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon. Who is the king of Babylon? The slave master. Because in the verse 3, it talks about them being released from slavery. It's going to be a time when they're released from slavery. Then it goes into the slave master, not Lucifer, not some fallen angel. It's talking about a slave master who had the nation of Israel in bondage. It says that thou shalt take up the parable against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased and the golden city ceased? What is that golden city? Babylon the Great, America. See, America is that golden city. America is profiting off the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They have the corporation, the worldwide corporation, Walmart, these gas stations. See, Silicon Valley, with the internet running the whole pretty much world, everybody connected to the internet. See, this slave master has been raised up. And this is what Isaiah 14 is talking about. Not some Lucifer, oh, he's fallen from heaven. No, this is the so-called white man, the slave master, is falling. His money is falling. See, the American dollar has no value. That's why inflation is happening. Inflation is the certified evidence that this devil is fallen. Now it says, verse 5, it says, this Isaiah 14:5, the Lord have broken the staff of the wicked. Not only is they the slave master, they the wicked on the earth. All wickedness starts with them and begins with them. See, this is what these Negroes don't understand. Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, it breaks it down and identifies these individuals. Because this nation enslaved the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans. Now Malachi 1:4, it says, whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus says the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. See that border of wickedness? When you go across a border, that's either the beginning when you're going into that country, or when you're leaving out that country, that's the end. And the so-called Edomites, the so-called white men, they are the beginning of wickedness and the end of wickedness. They the where it starts and where it's going to finish. Because when he destroyed them, it's not going to be no more wickedness. But these are the slave masters that the Lord set up over the nation of Israel. See? Now let's get the Deuteronomy 28 and 49 to show how the nation of Israel was thrown into slavery because of their wickedness, their disobedience. And he told them he was going to bring a nation against them. That was that nation of the border of wickedness, the so-called white man. Deuteronomy 28:49, it says, the Lord shall bring a nation against you. See? From far, from one end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Look at the American dollar. That's why it has an eagle on it. The German dollar, it has an eagle on it. The UK dollar, the pound has the eagle on it. See, these people represent the eagle. It says, a nation whose tongue you shall not understand. Verse 50, a nation of fierce consonants, pretty much saying a nation who look fierce. See, when you see a so-called white person, because they're not white, they're red, and they look like a dead person. See, They got leprosy. When you get leprosy, you look like a dead person. You look like you dead. That's why the person had leprosy. They would send them out and quarantine them because they look dead. It says, a nation of fierce continence, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. See, when you was in the cotton field, serving these dragons, see, you had to pick cotton. You could have been a 8-year-old baby, you was picking that cotton. You could have been a 60-year-old man, a 70-year-old woman, you was picking that cotton. As long as you can walk on your 2 feet, you was picking that cotton. This Deuteronomy 28 and 50. A nation of fierce continence, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. See, they didn't show no favor to the children. What was that? Emmett Till. When he was 14, you wink your eye at the wrong woman, they might stump you out and throw you in the river. See, they wasn't gonna show no regards to this young man just because he was a child. So, oh, he's just a child, don't pay him no attention. No. His mama had to bring him up to the news people and show how he had done got stumped and thrown in the river. She wanted them to see his face. See, but she didn't understand what she was dealing with, sending her child down to Mississippi, Alabama, wherever that happened at, to this fierce nation. See, you dealing with the wicked of the Bible, not no fallen angels. See, the slave master come up with this fallen angel mess. So you can be looking at some mysterious force that's against you when it's your slave master that's against you. See, now let's see here. Let's get Daniel to back that up because they try to throw that Deuteronomy 28 and try to put that on everybody. That's only on the Israelites. Daniel chapter 9, starting at verse 12. It says, and he has confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as been done upon Jerusalem. See, no other nation has went into slavery. That's a bold-faced, another lie of the slave master. Oh, this person went into slavery, that person went into slavery. No, that's a lie. Only one nation went into slavery. See, when you look at verse 11, Salakia, I skipped the verse. Verse 11 said, yeah, all Israel have transgressed the law. So we're talking about Israel. We're not talking about all peoples on the earth. They broke the laws, and now they're going to get the curses that's in Deuteronomy 28. It's not going to happen. It says, all Israel have transgressed the law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses and the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. See, this curse of slavery, having to be under the so-called white man, under a slave master, with his slave drivers, see, that's a curse from the Most High. That is not normal. See, that's a punishment. Look at, and see, we talking about the lies of the slave master. Let's go to the prayer of Azariah. See, this is another reason why they had slave Bibles. Why would you have a slave Bible if you can just grab a Bible and it's certified? No, you just can't grab a Bible and believe whatever is in there on the tip of. You got to know the history of this book. you got to know all the details about this book. Now, the prayer of Azariah repeated what Deuteronomy 28 and 49 is talking about. It says, and thou did deliver us into the hand of a lawless enemy, most hateful forsakers of God, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world. You see, that's the deliverance to the enemy. Now when you go to the New Testament, Luke chapter 1, the New Testament breaks it down perfectly. Starting at 68. This is Luke 1 and 68. Now Luke, he wrote Acts and he wrote the book of Luke in the New Testament after Yahushua, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, after he died. Now it says, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people. See, not all people. Why did he visit and redeem them? From what? What was he redeeming them from? Okay. We at 68. It says 69. And have raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. See, David was an Israelite. Verse 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So he always spoke by the Israelites and whoever he chose. Verse 72. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. What was that holy covenant? That the Israelites would be king and priest on the earth. See, and that priest goes into a lawgiver, somebody that gives the law. Now verse 71, let me go back to 71 if I might have skipped it. It says that we shall be saved from our enemies. See, this is why he came and died. So he can save us from our enemies and out of bondage, out of slavery. See, well, we got to obey somebody else's laws. See, that we shall be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. See, that's why the Latinos is protesting against the government. That's why the Native American is protesting. See, they all have the same common enemy. See, that lawless enemy, that ungodly enemy. The most wicked in all the world, the border of wickedness. See, the nation of Edom. And see, this was the plan of the Most High. Look at verse 71. This is Luke chapter 1, verse 74, Salakia, in the New Testament. That he would grant unto us that we being delivered out of the hand of our enemies might serve him without fear. See, because just like in Egypt, which this is the spiritual Egypt, but ancient Egypt, he was delivering them so they could serve him without worrying about what the Egyptians had to say. The same thing now. We want to serve the Most High without worrying about what our enemies have to say, what laws they making, how they trying to exterminate the nation of Israel. See? And that's what these people don't understand. The nation of Israel was always hated on because God chose them. See, all the other nations wanted to be chosen. It's just like Joseph, when all of the other sons got jealous of Joseph and sold him into slavery. because they say Joseph got the robe and the ring. They was jealous of Joseph, so they sold him to the Arabs. The same thing with the nation of Israel. The other nations are jealous. They want to exterminate the Israelites. King David in Psalms 83, it says, let me start at verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against your people. See, not all people. And consulted against your hidden one. You see, the Most High took our identity, took our pretty much our appearance away from us so he can bring us up in the last days. And we can serve out our punishment, plus the enemies wouldn't be able to exterminate us so easy. Verse 4, he said, they have said. Who is they? See, it's the enemies. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. See, that's what the UN is all about. The United Nations. And where is the United Nations located? It's located in America, in New York City. See, all the nations team up with the slave master, with the oppression and the slavery of the nation of Israel. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against you. So the nation of Israel has all the other nations against them. See, that's why you don't have a Native American with a seat on the UN. That's why you don't have a Negro from the projects, see, with a seat on the UN running his mouth. You don't have a Latino in the UN with a seat and a sign saying Latinos. You don't have these people in the UN running their mouth about nothing. They got to go on the street corner and hold up a sign talking about we shall overcome. You're not overcoming nothing without a military. That's my next lesson. But it says, it names the nations. Now that border of wickedness, Edom, it names them first. That's why it's in their country. America. New York City. See? It says the tabernacles of Edom. See, the Edom is the so-called white man. America. They have the military bases. They have the guns, the bombs, the planes, the battleships, the tanks, the submarines, the nuclear missiles. They are the king on the block. See, that's why it's naming them first, but not only them, they have allies and other nations that help oppress the Israelites. It say the tabernacle of Edom and the Ishmaelites, that's the Arab, and of Moab, that's the Chinese. That's why the Chinese bomb is called Moab. See, their nuclear missile is called Moab because they know where they come from. They know their history. The Hagarim, that's these Hamites, the Africans over there. See, the Africans, they have a seat on the UN. They can go in there and run their mouth. See, the Africans have a way to say, oh, this is what they're doing to our people, and we don't want like it, and all the other nations need to listen and help us out. Because we all confederate with each other. See, they can do that. Verse 7 say, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek. See that Amalek, where Ammon is the Japanese, that's why you have the military bases over there in Japan, plus they so-called allies right now. It says, and Amalek. Amalek is the so-called Jewish folks over there in the Holy Land who trying to steal the identity of the Israelites. That's why they are children of Edom, but they renamed them because that's the top tribe that's running the world. They have all the gold in the banks, and they run everything. The television, Hollywood, that's why they was named 2 times, because they are the leader of the nation of Edom,
They are the leader of the so-called white man. See, you had to name them 2 times because they the ones with the records. They hiding the Hebrew translation of Matthew. See, Matthew was translated in Hebrew. They hiding that. They got that in a secret vault where nobody can go in there and look at it. See, that's the kind of stuff that the slave master got. A Negro don't got access to the Vatican where he can go in there and read all the ancient manuscripts and see what exactly what's being said through the verses. So that's why they're wondering, how do these Negroes and Hispanic and Native Americans understand what's going on? Because we fed them Christianity on this plantation. See, we they slave master. We told they preachers what to teach. They got a 501c3. We told they preachers exactly what to say. Do not deal with politics. If you deal with politics, we gonna take your 501c3 away. You cannot be a pastor or a preacher on the records, on the books, getting a tax credit. See, you can't be telling these Israelites what's going on. You can't tell them the truth. If you tell them the truth, we gonna kick you out of our program. See, that's why the Jehovah's Witness, they is with the United Nations. They probably got a 501c3. All these denominations are selling out to the government because they trying to hide the truth. Now, when you go into, let's see. Let's go into,
What minutes?
okay, now we're going to go into the militaries. Now, the military is the key to knowing who the Israelites are and who the nation of Edom is, because they want to have a debate and say, oh, the Edomites are either done away with or they the Arabs. So when you go into Isaiah 34, Isaiah 34, it explains who the Lord is coming for. When he cracked that sky, it explains who he coming for. And now you got the UFOs up there, and the military saying this is the threat is becoming outstanding. The threat is on another level now. First, it was just something simple, but now this threat has been multiplied. But look at Isaiah 34. It says, "Come near, you nations, and hear, and hearken, you people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein the world, and all things that come forth of it." Verse 2, "For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies." See, the armies and the military is who the Lord is coming for. It says, "He have utterly destroyed them and have delivered them up to the slaughter." Now, when you jump down to verse 3 and verse 4, talking about them nuclear missiles that's coming from Russia that we see on the news every day. Verse 5 is identifying who the missiles is coming for. It says, verse 5, this is Isaiah 34 and 5. "For my sword," that sword is a weapon. See, that is not some big knife. That is not a big dagger. See, it's talking about a weapon. "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." That heaven is talking about the sky. His weapon is going to be in the sky. And he personalized it. He said, "My sword." Not somebody else's sword, my sword. Because it's going to serve his purpose. It says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Now that "come down" is letting you know this is what Satan and Satan 1 that Putin has created. These missiles is going to go up out of the atmosphere and they're going to come down. See, it says, It shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. See, it's a judgment written for these people. See, it's written in stone. See, that's another one. See, when you write something down in stone, that means it ain't gonna change. You can't erase it with an eraser. It's written in stone. You got to blow up the whole stone. But that Idumea stands for Edom. And Edom, it goes back to the border of wickedness, back to the nation of Edom. See, who was the slave master, who had the Holy Land, who taken the Israelites into captivity, who was the twin brother of the Israelites. See, that was in the womb with the Israelites. Now it tells you what part of Idumea that is not coming. These nuclear bombs ain't just gonna hit one part of Idumea. I mean, not gonna hit the whole Idumea and destroy all of them at one time. It's just gonna hit the main part, which is America. Verse 6, the next verse, he said, the sword, talking about the nuclear weapon, of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats and with the fat of kidneys and rams. For the Lord has a sacrifice in Bozrah. Bozrah is the capital city of the Edomites. See, it's the main was the main stronghold of the Edomites, and the Bible used similitudes. See, because they didn't know nothing about America in the United States. They didn't know nothing about that, but they knew the people, the nation. The nation had a judgment on them. It says, for the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. See, it's going to be a great slaughter when Putin and his allies shoot those missiles. China, Iran,